Oh my gosh. Pereira. So annoyed. So annoyed. That was a tough one. That was frustrating. What's up, everyone? My name is Ty Roder. I'm the host of the Verity and Black Show here on YouTube with your in-depth analysis and look/recap of all things Austin FC. Let's dive into this week's game. We were away at Real Salt Lake. My brain kind of hurts at exactly what occurred during the game. Dominguez, who knows when he's coming back, if he's coming back. I think he will be back. I know we play LAFC on Wednesday. I don't think he'll be in the squad for that game, but I could see the following Sunday, so a week from now, him being back on the roster, the 18-man roster. And then obviously Stuver was out again, supposedly. Not. I don't want to say it's more serious than what people had previously thought of, but I guess you could see some of his bone. So I would assume that takes a lot longer to heal than just like a traditional cut. So I don't see him playing during the midweek game against LA Galaxy. I'm sorry, not LA Galaxy, LAFC. But hopefully we can get him back for a good home reunion next week against Orlando City. Real Salt Lake, I felt like the first 30 minutes, nothing really happened. I don't know, just felt like both teams, and I feel like, in soccer, that's traditionally kind of what happens is you usually feeling each other out, but you'd think there'd be a couple of chances, and it just didn't really seem like anything, which as an away team, I think is okay. You don't want to shake the game up too much. If the home team isn't pressuring you, maybe you could look at it as, we should have capitalized early if Real Salt Lake was kind of playing back. But a couple interesting lineup adjustments. Obviously, Tarbell in at goalie, but then Kolmanic and Jimenez on the outside. I thought Gallagher had kind of overtaken Kolmanic, and granted, we do have a midweek game coming up as well as another game next week. So I think it's probably smart that if Wolf wants to kind of rotate some bodies. I mean, Kolmanic, I think I don't think there's a big drop off, vice versa with Kolmanic and Gallagher. Jimenez, I was kind of surprised at. I feel like Nick Lima hasn't really been challenged. Jimenez played okay today. I don't think him or Kolmanic really stood out to me that much. I mean, you'd like to think that they would provide some service and crosses and kind of support on the offensive side of the ball, but I wasn't impressed, but I also wasn't really disappointed in either of them. The rest of the lineup, stayed the same. Ring's goal was a beauty. It was nice. That's what I feel like we should expect from Ring, especially when he gets the ball and has those chances. I know there's sometimes it feels like more times than not when Ring has a chance like that, he'll miss it, or it'll be one-on-one versus the goal, and he'll somehow find a way to screw it up. Luckily, he didn't this time, and it was the 24th minute, so things were looking good. We have all of our players. We're up 1-0 on the road. Our offense was looking decent at that time. The goal, I think after that goal, was maybe to get another one before half, and then if nothing else, go into halftime up 1-0. So I think going into halftime, we were looking pretty good. I think there were a couple of attempts, and I know Driussi got a yellow. They were talking about how Pereira and Ring, were on yellow cards. I think it was 4 or 5 yellow cards, and then the next one they would have been out. So, it was kind of surprising that Wolf started Ring and Pereira, because if both of them had gotten a yellow card, obviously we know what happens later in the game, but if both of them had gotten a yellow card, neither of them would have been able to play against LAFC, and that kind of would have really screwed up the midfield. Um, but, you know, that's not really a talking point of this game. Granted, what happened in the second half. So, I mean, the second half starts, and part of me is upset with Danny, but not really. I mean, it wasn't a penalty. If it was a penalty, then yes, I'd be a little bit more perturbed at what he did. The second thing is the head referee has only refereed 14 games in his MLS career, 14, and he's notoriously known to give out yellows and reds at will. I believe there were 6 yellows and reds given out. I mean, only 1 red, but 6 cards shown during the game, and I didn't feel like it really got that chippy. Um, so I'm not. I know Pereira put us in a tough spot, but at the same time, if you go back and you watch that replay, he did have his hand on his back, but he didn't push him. I mean, it was really, really soft. Really soft. So I think I'm okay with that being a yellow, 100%. 100% being a yellow. Bobby Wood already looked like he was falling. I mean, the ball was underneath his feet as Pereira was making contact. It looked like Bobby Wood didn't know what he was doing and was kind of waiting for contact, and then Pereira extends his hand. I wouldn't even say a push. Like a push is like you forcefully push someone. Pereira extends his hand. That's all he does. Even slow-mo, you can see that's all he does is he touches the back of him. And then you have Real Salt Lake's head coach, Pablo Mastroianni, on the side flipping out because Bobby Wood trips over himself because Pereira touched his back. So, I don't know. To me, I know people are saying, oh, Pereira's going to learn. I don't know what else you do in that situation, Like, he was trying to stop, the momentum of Bobby Wood. Bobby Wood looked like he was going to trip over himself. So, it's a tough spot, I don't put the blame on Pereira. I don't think he thought he was going to get a red card. Also, it was kind of weird, like, how long it took for the red card to be shown. Pereira, Tarbell basically got the ball and started playing out of the back, and then he blew the whistle and brought it back. One of the things, too, I wish the referee would have done is at least go to VAR. Like, why is it a straight red? I feel like a straight red is a lot harder over to turn than, like, assessing what happened and then giving him a red if you feel it's justified. But, like, to give him a straight red, I don't know. That was kind of a clown show there. Granted, it was outside the box, so that helped. I think everyone watching the game was anxious, waiting for Salt Lake to score. I will say the Real Salt Lake goal that happened, what was it, like 8 minutes later? 100% on Ring. Ring stands there, doesn't do anything. The guy has a great touch around him, but Ring, you can clearly visibly see that Ring is flat-footed inside the 6-yard box pretty much and lets a guy go around them. And Ring's supposed to be, the leader of our team. Ring is not the leader of our team. More times than not, Ring is in the wrong place at the wrong time doing something dumb. I think it's time we give Driussi the armband. Or Fagundes. You know what? Honestly, when Stuver comes back, give Stuver the armband. Ring does not need to be captain of Austin FC anymore. I'm sorry. He doesn't. It's time. And then, I think another thing to touch on. So obviously now we're up to the point where it's 1-1 in the game. We have about 35 minutes left in the game, and we're playing down a man. I will say, we did have chances. Ethan Finley's a dud. I think there was some promise at the beginning of the season when he was coming off the bench, but right now he is providing absolutely nothing. He's another body. We're basically starting the game off 11v10. So I did like Owen Wolf coming in. That ball he played like the 85th minute where he brought it down inside the box and played it on the backside of Driussi for him. And he looked poised, which I liked. I know people are talking about how they want Wolf to replace Finley and get some minutes. I don't know if I'm there yet. Wolf looked strong, but to throw him into a starting role while we're second atop the Western Conference is a tall ask. And I don't want to. The thing with Wolf is it's not that I don't think he's a good player. I do, and I think last night he showed a ton of potential. It's the, if you start him and he's a liability, are we going to have to take him off in the first half in a game that we need the 3 points? That's what concerns me. At least Finley, yes, is a dud, but have Finley play the first 45 and then bring on Wolf in the second half. I think that's where we're at. I don't know. Rodney Redes maybe could start for Finley. This is a scenario where you'd like to figure out what we're doing with Dominguez. Are we bringing Dominguez back? Because if we're bringing Dominguez back and he's gonna play, let's play him. If we're not, then let's move on. Let's get someone else. That's the frustrating thing. I mean, heck, if Jared Stroud's still on the team, bring him in. Could probably provide more of a spark than Finley. I was going to throw out the idea of potentially having instead of Ethan Finley on the right hand side, you have Hector Jimenez playing right back, and then maybe Nick Lima playing right mid. You still have Kolmanich on the left mid. But when you think about it, okay, so we have Kolmanich, we have Lima, we have Gallagher, and we have Jimenez. We have 4 players who could pretty much interchangeably play right back, left mid, right mid, right? And Finley is not providing it. We do not need to keep, let's just say like last night, Jimenez and Kolmanich were starting, right? We do not need to keep Gallagher on the bench. And Gallagher doesn't really need to come in for Kolmanich. I would rather have Gallagher start right mid for Finley and keep our right backs and left backs in sync, or however Wolf wants to do it. But I mean, Gallagher knows how to play on the midfield. And I mean, even if you put Gallagher on the left mid and you put Fagundes on the right, I don't know if that screws up Fagundes' kind of thinking, but that's just a thought. I mean, we have the bodies there at left back and right back that we could, we don't need to put Owen Wolf in just because Finley is stinking it up. I think Wolf, showed that he can be a reliable sub, but I'm not ready to put him in as a starter. So I think we need to pump the brakes on that. And Valencia did okay. I know Valencia was the one that ultimately replaced Finley. And then, I mean, that second goal, the first goal really was frustrating just because Ring is supposed to be, a center defensive mid-ish player, and he just looked so lost. And he's looked lost for the past couple of weeks. And I mean, granted, he scored the goal, which was really nice, but that's not really his forte. And I mean, that second goal, there's nothing you could do. I mean, maybe Stuber could have seen it a little bit better, but I mean, it was the guy's first ever MLS goal, and I mean, he cranked that into the upper right hand corner. I mean, perfect technique, perfect placement. So kudos to him. I mean, that's not really on our defense. Granted, he was kind of wide open at the top of the 18 for one-touch finish that he basically just guided into the top corner of the net. But at the same time, we're also down a man. That's probably where Danny Pereira would have been had he been in the game. So an unfortunate result. We lose 2-1. I think we could have came back and tied. Driussi had 2 chances in the last 3 minutes of the game. That one that Wolf provided was superb, and Driussi just basically played it right to the goalie. So yeah, I mean, thankfully the Colorado Rapids beat LAFC, so that helps drastically. In the chase for the top spot of the West. I think this was a game, had the red card not occurred and some other things transpired not occur, we probably, I don't know if we would have held on 1-0 without with the red card still occurring. I think Salt Lake may have been able to get one, so maybe we could have had some more offense and had won ourselves 2-1. But it is what it is. The tough thing with the red card for Pereira is he's out for the next game, so most likely Valencia is gonna step in for Pereira, which is interesting because I don't know how, when I think of Valencia, I think of Valencia kind of as the same type of player as Ring. I feel like Pereira is more of like an attacking center attacking mid, center mid, however, whatever you want to call him. So I mean, if you have Driussi, Ring, and Valencia, it's almost like we're playing with like two center defensive mids. So it'll be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if, against Orlando City, we're not playing Orlando City. We're playing LAFC. Awesome. So yeah, we're playing LAFC first, then Orlando City next week, and then the LA Galaxy away. Both LA teams were playing away. LAFC game, I think we should be shooting for a tie. Just going to say that. I know everyone wants to sit here and say, oh, we want to win every game. Realistically, are we going to go into LAFC, the team in front of us? I mean, we lost to the Galaxy at home. We probably should have lost 4-0. I think coming out of LAFC with a tie, I'll take a point. I will gladly take a point. For any fans out there who are frustrated that we should be going for 3 points, if we play the way we should be able to play, yes, we'll score. And granted, I'm not going to sit here and say we can't win, because we can. But LAFC is a very solid team, and there's a reason that they're at the top of the table. And we're missing some players. Like we're not going to have Stuver, we're not going to have Pereira. We're talking about Josh Wolf's son starting his first ever game at LAFC. So take it for what it's worth. I try to be realistic about the things I see and how I analyze the games and looking forward. I think a game it's almost gonna be a must win is the Orlando City. I mean, you have LAFC Wednesday, and then we have a week and a half from Wednesday, LA Galaxy, both away. If we can walk away from LA at the end of May having won a game and having drawn a game, that's a success. I'll even take a win and a loss. I'll take 3 points out of those two games. That's fine with me. I mean, two of the toughest teams in all of MLS. You could possibly say two of the best teams in MLS right now. I mean, we talk about us. We're decent. We've looked a little shaky as of late, but at Orlando City, especially at home, that's going to be a must-win game. We need to win that game if we want to keep pace with the LAFCs and the LA Galaxies of the world. We have to win that game. Granted, it'd be nice to go into LAFC and secure those 3 points, so that way, the Galaxy game is kind of a redemption game. I think out of the two games, LAFC and LA Galaxy, I think we're more likely to win the Galaxy game, just because I think we match up better, and one, it's a redemption game, and two, we'll have hopefully a full squad by then. The LAFC game, we're not going to have Stuver, we're not going to have Pereira, so we'll see. I think, I heard a lot of rumblings about how it was all Pereira's fault and he's going to learn, and I just felt like it was important to mention, it was a real soft foul, really soft red card, let alone a yellow card. Definitely look into those things before we start putting all the onus on the player themselves. But that's it for me. Yeah, I'm excited. It's getting summertime. It's going to be hot at Q2 Stadium, but I'll be there cheering on the Verde and Black, and I'll see you next time. Appreciate it.